everyone. So excited to have Tim Malyk here. He is a veteran in the arts industry. I will pass it over to him so he could explain his background and his connection to the arts. Tim?
I am Tim. I've been in the art world for well over 25 years across many different areas. I started out studying art and architecture, being an artist, and then working with collectors. And then I spent the majority of the past decade and a half working in the auction business as a specialist, an advisor, logistics, doing a number of different things. And now I'm working on individual projects with myself and other partners and colleagues, one of which is a platform for artists called VU Galleries.
Yeah, VU Galleries has the coolest stuff. I checked it out.
Thanks.
And yeah, I was like, oh, I love it. And I also love that you introduced one of the artists that is in the Exquisite Collabs too, Stefan Janowski. And then also we were lucky enough to have you create art with it. And so thank you for being part of this.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. And then my question to you is you've been doing this for a while. And so, the project is titled Hungry Artist. And I feel like we have a hungry artist in all of us, somebody who is not just a talented creator or helps other creators, but somebody who's got that drive, that hunger and determination. So tell us about your journey in the art field and just kind of going from where you started off to and where you are now.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a wild ride. I've always been an artist ever since I was a child. You're drawing, you're painting, you're creating things, this drive to make stuff, and growing up, it was always wanting to draw or paint, or I was in construction growing up too, and all of that kind of I went to art school, put all that stuff together, and studied art and architecture and art history. But getting out of school, I realized something pulled me in a different direction from being an artist. I wound up working in an auction field, ultimately with one of the larger auction houses, and worked my way up from answering telephones to being a senior member of staff, where we were able to, it was like going to school. It was better than any kind of graduate school you can go to. All the artwork you're seeing and touching, and you're meeting artists that you're even auctioning. It was this kind of area took up my life for, it was a third of my life at one point, working in this industry. That was so exciting that we were able to help artists with what we were doing too. We were setting records, introducing artists to the market. It was fun, it was a very fun experience, and that ultimately led me into this kind of tech sphere of working with online auctions and online art platforms and working with artists. That kind of took a different, it shifted to wanting to help people more and work with the artists directly and see how we can kind of help them and advance their careers, and that's where I am now. That makes any kind of sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think you were probably, so great at having an auction house and working with artists because you were an artist yourself. And so I didn't realize, you went to art school and studied art and all of that. So I think those are the best kind of gallerists, and anybody who works with artists is if they know what it's like to be an artist. And so I find that really cool that you are kind of both,
Well, that's kind of how Stefan and I were introduced through one of my partners, my business partners. And one of our companies is in the music industry, and one of his bands, Stefan knew, and the two of them hit it off, and they had all worked separately together. And then my partner introduced me to Stefan, and him and I just started chatting and talking, hey, we have VU. Do you want to work on the site? Can we do a show together? What kind of projects can we do? So we have one of his exhibitions up now. And then this came up, the Hungry Artist came up, and I emailed you. I said, look, you totally check out what Stefan's doing. But then him and I too, I do, being an artist and doing projects on my own on the side, we're thinking of other things we can do together, for VU, for him. It's always wanting to make things, always wanting to create, and you're bouncing ideas off of people. You know how it is as an artist or a creator or anything, you're throwing these ideas around and seeing what you can get going, and getting to stick.
For sure. Yeah, I think like how music, and you were talking about some of these bands, I feel like all of that is what keeps artists excited. When you're, adding elements of music and art, even with the Hungry Artists Exquisite collabs for the NFT that you drew these really cool legs for, we have a song embedded on it with the musician who
Oh, that's
created that.
awesome. I
Yeah,
love it.
so it is kind of merging it all together. Yours is dropping July 26th, and then it's part of the
Wait.
song embedded. You'll have to listen to it as well. But yeah, so the legs you created, I want to know like why you decided to put these cool rollerblades. What did you use to create this artwork?
Oh, I mean, I'm always drawing stuff. I'll be drawing things every day. I fill up sketchbooks every week, but I
Nice.
was in this 80s zone where I was
Mhm.
just kind of looking at old Trapper Keepers and, just screensavers and 80s graphics. And I'm like, all right, this could be fun. So I'd already started kind of working on this background, which is just putting together all these other 80s, they're Trapper Keeper covers, and
Yeah.
folders. Cool. And then I was just kind of messing around. I saw your leg, just the template. So I figured let's put them in roller skates, instead
Yeah.
of, so, you had to be doing something.
Yeah.
And then, let's give them some of those, like those crazy, like, not parachute pants, but you know what I mean? The ones that are like zebra
Yeah.
striped, like spandex. I don't know. I was just in that kind of 80s mode. I was
Yeah. It
picturing like
gave,
the craziest guy you would see in like Venice Beach, roller
yes.
skating around, with
Yeah.
wings and some
Super cool.
crazy
It gave it such
tiger
great
pants.
energy. And then even just the fact that they have like the roller skates, roller blades, it feels like it's the artist on the go. And that's the original original inspiration of why I put the artist legs on a skateboard. And then for you to take it to a different kind of set of wheels. And then putting that 80s element with all like the different patterns and colors. I love it. I think it's so fun. So thank you for that. Yeah.
Thanks.
And my question for you, especially like art tech with what you have with Voo Galleries, what's your take on like the art world going from traditional art and now like this kind of like interest in digital art and NFTs and Web3? Like, do you like it? Are you for it? Like, what's your thoughts on it?
I think we got to be open to everything.
Mm,
Everything evolves, everything moves forward, everything progresses. And where we are now with Web3 and NFTs and the metaverse and all these things, I think, it should be put together. There's no reason one thing has to be only in a virtual space and only in a real space. There's a way to put all of this stuff together, to merge it and to create, this kind of hybrid life. Half of us
yeah,
all live digitally as it is in your TikTok and Instagram lives versus your real life. You have these kind of two worlds you live in. So there's no reason that traditional art world, be it galleries or, the tangible physical paintings and sculptures, can't reside somehow side by side in a world where there's, a digital version or a,
yeah,
counterpoint to that in
yeah,
his virtual space. And I think it's moving. I think we're finding a rhythm. There's a groove that's starting to be carved and a lanes made,
mhm,
where people are purchasing NFTs with more comfort and investing in them. People are actually appraising them for, you know, future value, insured value. So we're seeing this actually hold a place that's very similar to what's in traditional art world.
yeah,
Um, but I think it'll keep growing. People always want new things.
yeah,
Everybody wants to explore new things and see what's out there. And I think that whole idea of Web3, NFT, and having a metaverse too, it's going to open up all sorts of new possibilities.
yeah,
For creators and artists to do both.
right.
What's to say you can't do? Look at what you're doing with your paintings and with the NFT. That's the same thing that's happening. That's
Right.
where I see this kind of. That's
Yeah.
what we're going to be seeing more and more of.
Yeah. I thought like in the beginning, the art world was kind of putting their nose up to digital art. But then when I saw the auction houses, then, put like the Beeple, and then even like they had a Bored Ape Yacht Club, a World of Women, all these different kind of NFTs, and then they went for millions. That's when you realize traditional art world is accepting to NFTs and
Yeah.
accepting this new kind of move into this like, metaverse, digital art space and NFTs. So it is exciting that
It's
people are
grabbing
looking
people
forward.
by the collar. It
Yeah.
makes them take notice,
Yeah.
especially the old guard,
Yeah.
established kind of institutions
Right.
that were these kind of gatekeepers to, look at the auction world. It's always been Sotheby's,
Yeah.
Christie's, whoever, just for hundreds of years, they are the gatekeepers, right?
Yeah.
But to have, something like people come out and then, just go into the stratosphere and where nobody really saw it coming except for the few that were in the know.
Right.
This is what we're seeing. You can't deny that there is a place for it, in our world today. It's
100%.
there's always going to be people that like things solely digital or solely traditional. I mean, it's going to happen anywhere. But
Right.
it's amazing to see the developments that are happening, the artwork that's being made, and
Mhm.
I think with NFTs and this kind of digital format,
Mhm.
it's allowing other people that necessarily would never even think about being artists
Yeah.
to become artists,
That's
to take, risks or explore these kind of avenues to create these things,
Yeah.
people that traditionally wouldn't have ever thought of themselves as creators or artists.
Right. It's exciting times. And I feel like it's a good time to try it out if somebody always wanted to do art and they never did it before. Now it's like the time you can do that with digital art,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that. Last question I have for you is just what are you currently working on and where can people find you?
Well, I mean, we have VU galleries going. I mean, we have new projects that we're working on that'll come out, later on the summer. We're always kind of putting things together. There's projects I'm working on, like I said, with other people that are involved with this project. We'll see how that goes very soon.
Mhm.
Just always working, always drawing, painting, creating things. And whether it be art or music. So I'm always on VU galleries. And
the website is it vugalleries.com?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then the Instagram, can you share your Instagram for VU
that's just
Galleries?
VU galleries also. It's not.
Oh, nice. Oh, you were like the lucky ones that you were able to get your name, just like no hash, no underscore, or like no dots or anything. Yeah, I couldn't get my own name, so I had to do like .co, even though I would have loved just if it was just Mary Lai. But okay, that's easy.
Yeah, we really
Galleries.
like that with that.
Yeah.
And then I'll have there's a couple fun projects I have from myself I'm working on that might come out, later towards 2023, but nothing solid yet. But I've been working on some things for a couple of years that are ready to kind of
very
pop out.
cool. Yeah, and I know with you guys, it's not just going to be traditional art. It's the unexpected with like layering on like the entertainment, the music, and like the sculptures and all of that. So you guys are doing like really cool things for art and culture. So thanks for being part of Exquisite Collabs.
Oh my God, thanks for bringing us in.
Yeah,
thanks for bringing us in. This is great.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tim.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then we'll talk soon. Hopefully I can catch you next time I'm in New York.
Absolutely. Definitely.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Bye.